Those are 5 guys. We will start with number 34.
Number 34, Kevin McHale.
So Kevin McHale's All-NBA and MVP finishes, that part of his resume is not great. He is only first-team All-NBA one time. He only has one top 5 MVP finish. He is 2-time sixth man of the year, but sixth men of the year typically aren't top 50 all-time guys. And he has 6-time All-Defense. And whenever you mention Kevin McHale, you have to mention his legendary footwork, a guy that Charles Barkley said was the hardest player he ever had to defend. So, when your resume is that light on individual accomplishments, how do you not only make this list, but make the top 35 of this list? Well, he's a 3-time champion, 5-time finalist, and he was the second best player on, I would argue, 2 of those championship runs. The title in 81, he wasn't their second best player yet, but he was Bird's Robin to Bird's Batman for the majority of the Celtics dynasty, and he showed up in the biggest moments. 1985, when the Celtics lost in 6 to the Lakers, he had 32 and 16 in the final game of that series and averaged 26 and 11 for that series, leading the Celtics in points and rebounds for the 85 finals. In 1986, games 5 and 6 against Sampson and Akeem. Again, the 2 big men for Houston in the 86 finals are Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon. What does Kevin McHale do in games 5 and 6? 33 and 8, followed by 29 and 10. Once again in that finals, he leads the Celtics in points per game. So back-to-back finals, he scores more points than Larry Bird. So again, this isn't a situation where it was just Larry Bird carrying the Celtics dynasty. And I understand Parrish is a player a lot of historians, and he's on the NBA top 50 and the top 75 list. I think Parrish is a touch overrated, and McHale's a touch underrated. 85 and 86 finals, McHale leads the Celtics in points per game in both finals, and he's doing it against having to guard Kareem in the 85 finals, having to guard Sampson or Akeem in the 86 finals, or at least being a part of it. Obviously, Robert Parrish had to deal with the big men on the opposing team as well. Then you move on, and Kevin McHale breaks his foot. And this is kind of the fork in the road moment for him, because today's NBA, he'd have sat down for probably a year. He plays through it, averages 21 and 9 that postseason, which ends in a finals loss to the Lakers with a broken foot. 1988, what happens? He's 25 and 8 on 60% shooting in the 88 postseason. Again, this is post-foot injury, 25 and 8 on 60% shooting for the postseason. They lose to Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals. And in round 2, which was the famous Dominique-Larry Bird duel, Kevin McHale quietly goes 33 and 13 in a game Boston wins by 2. And then after that, Bird's back is gone, McHale's foot is gone, and they're done. But if we're going to try to reward winning, if we're going to try to reward real postseason success, we have to acknowledge that Kevin McHale was not just a supporting actor in the Celtics mini dynasty of the 80s. That's why he comes in number 34 on the all-time list. Let's go to one of our callers that has a Kevin McHale question.
Hey, Nick, I know a little bit about Kevin McHale and, how important he was to these Celtics teams, whether it was the scoring or the rebounding. He was an enforcer who could also really score the ball. But realistically, what do you think the score of a one-on-one game would be between LeBron James and Kevin McHale? 11-0? I mean, at a certain point, don't you have to be a more competent all-around player than just a guy who can, rebound and have good footwork in the post? Let me know what you think.
Yeah, listen, of course McHale would get roasted in a one-on-one game against many guys, and comparing him to LeBron, who's going to show up on the spoiler alert in the top 3 of this list, is unfair. But his contributions to winning basketball cannot be overstated. And on top of that, I want people to understand, again, not to restate my own points, but this is a guy that averaged 26 and 11 in the 85 finals. Led the team in scoring in the 86 finals. He wasn't a role player. Now, would a team with Kevin McHale as their best guy have been a champion? Probably not. But would he have undoubtedly had multiple top 5 MVP finishes instead of just the one? I think so. I'm very comfortable with him as the second best supporting actor, if you will, in NBA history, being number 34. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.